All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Get Growing weekly work session with GetOiling. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founders Greg and Amanda Kilwine. Say hi, guys.
Hey,
Good
everyone.
morning.
There we are. Hey, as you're
Happy
coming in,
Thursday.
yeah, happy Thursday. As you're coming in, go ahead and leave us some comments in the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from. We're excited to have you here today. Guys, this is a continuation, or a finalization, if you will, in a specific series we've been running over the last few weeks on funnels, right? So this is the components of funnels, how you build them, how you plan for them, which is a really critical part of each phase of this process. We have already, up to this point, for those of you watching live, we've covered landing pages and we've covered lead magnets. Today, we're going to cover campaigns, which have a lot of interesting uses, and we're going to show you some of the different ways that you can use them and build them easily. And of course, if you're here right now, then you obviously have received emails from us. One of those does include a PDF download of the slides I'll be using today to show you guys this stuff. And of course, we'll include that download below this video as a recording. So welcome again, excited to be here. If this is your first time, welcome. We're really happy to have you. This is something that we do every week, and we have for over a year now, I think. I mean, actually a lot more than that, right? We've been doing this for a bit. And this is something that's designed to help you, the Young Living distributor, to grow your business. No matter where you are or how you've gotten started, how new you are, how advanced you are, this is an opportunity for you to learn something new, put it to use in your business. And then today, you're actually going to see some websites that people have made on our platform that we're going to give some specific instruction, help, and feedback to. So if that's something that you're interested in getting for the site that you're developing, definitely reach out to us and let us know that you want to be live on one of these calls so that we can go over this stuff together and work through maybe some of the things that kind of come up that are difficult for you, because nobody really typically comes into this knowing how to do all the things. And we're here to help you get over those hurdles, and being on this live call actually helps not just you, but everyone watching better understand how they can get those benefits too. So all right, let's go ahead and head over to screen sharing. We're going to teach. We're going to go through this. You'll have the slides to keep and use for yourself so you can put this to use in your business today. And then we're going to do a couple of website and funnel reviews for a couple of our members who are here today to join us. All right. Oh yeah, I forgot. Turning off video so we can see these slides better. Thanks, guys. All right, so today, as mentioned, we are getting back into our Funnel 101 training. We're talking about campaigns today. And what we're gonna do is take your questions that you have right now. If you came here looking for help, whether it has to do with campaigns or funnels or not, go ahead and please add those to the Q&A. If you put them in the chat, they might get lost because the chat gets a little crazy on these calls with all you guys here. So in today's training, we're gonna talk about what campaigns are, the types of campaigns you can use, the elements of a great campaign, and 2 types that you can make with GetOiling. You'll also have that live Q&A opportunity as well as some site reviews after our training today. So if you are watching this as a recording later on YouTube, if you want to join us live on one of these calls, head over to getoiling.com/weekly work session. This is a completely free service that we are offering to anyone in the Young Living community who's looking to build their business online. You don't even have to be a member of our platform yet to be able to access this training and benefit from it. So first, I want you to go grab that worksheet. This came to you in your email if you're here live, and if you've been tuning in for the last couple of weeks, you may already have a copy of a worksheet that looks like this. This is what you're going to use to plan your funnel. This is what you use to decide what goes where. If you look at the technology and it makes your head spin, understand that if you are coming in fully planned and you know what you're going to do, what you're going to say, and how, then it's very easy to plug in the different elements of your funnel to make it work beautifully for you. So make sure that you have filled out this funnel planner before you start doing the work of the tech, all right? This is how you're going to break it down based on what you want to do, what steps you need them to do for you to get the result that you want, what you're going to be promising, how you're going to make that, how it ties into all of the other components. This isn't a lot of moving parts and pieces, but if you're not super clear on everything on this planner, you might wind up with a frustrating experience when you go to start building it on your GetOiling site. So make sure you use this first. All right, now how many of you, because I know we've been doing this for a bit now, quick show of hands, who has a funnel that you have built on your GetOiling site? Ooh, look at you guys. All right. Excellent. All right. So let's talk about campaigns. What is a campaign? Really simply, a campaign is a series of messages that is designed to inform, nurture, and compel someone toward taking a specific action. With leads, a campaign is really supposed to move them toward a one-on-one with you, right? Understanding, and I think this is an important caveat to note here. There are some people who teach that you can just put links out there that point to your Young Living sign up page and that people should just go and sign themselves up. Call me old school, but I don't believe that that works very well. As a matter of fact, I know that it doesn't work very well from the years of work that I've been doing and building and duplicating my own organizations and consulting and training on leaders and corporate on how they build organizations in this industry. You can't just assume you can point somebody to a link and they're just going to do what you wish they would do with it. Everything that you do in generating leads and in cultivating, nurturing your leads is to move them toward a one-on-one conversation with you so that you can keep them accountable to what they say and sign them up, address their objections right there in the moment so that they're ready to go because their question is answered, right? Everything moves toward a one-on-one call with you. The whole point of a funnel for leads is to find curious people interested in things that you know something about that's related to what you ultimately offer, even if it's just the oils, right? And then, of course, have those people become, on an automated basis, because of these messages, more trusting of you because they see that you know what you're talking about, more open to a conversation with you because they have seen your personality through your writing and they appreciate what you have to share. The point of this campaign is to move those leads toward a one-on-one with you, call, Zoom, in person, whatever, so that you can move them together toward starting with Young Living. Quick show of hands. That makes sense, right? So a campaign is not a magic button that automatically signs people up into Young Living for you. A campaign is a thing, when you're using this for leads, that helps to move them toward a call where they are ready to say yes, a call where they are ready to ask their buying questions so that they can say yes. All right, great. Now, if you're using a campaign for members, we probably have folks in our system using campaigns for members even more so than leads. And this is actually a really good thing because the thing that tends to take up most of our time, the more our business grows, is something that is an income sustaining activity as opposed to an income producing activity. And that's educating, right? It's educating and informing your members. It's a thing you absolutely should be doing, but it's something that if you spend the bulk of your time on it, it can stall you at your rank, right? How many of you know this is true? You start managing your business and operating as a manager and not as a business developer, not as a leader growing an organization, and things kind of plateau, right? So for your members, you use campaigns to educate on autopilot. This allows you to click a couple of buttons or allow them to enter their own information on a landing page. And then they start to receive information about their starter kit if they're just getting started, or about the promos this month that you received from one of our amazing content partners who write these campaigns for you, and on and on, all right? What a campaign is also going to do, and this is really important, this builds trust and rapport and educates without you being there. If you expect that if you are going to grow to Royal Crown Diamond, right? If you're going to grow to your next rank, you're going to have to bring in a lot of new business, right? How much time would it cost you in hours of your day, per week, per month, for you to repeat the same information over and over and over and over again to every single new person who joins your organization, to every single new person who expresses some degree of curiosity? The whole point of these campaigns is for you to do what you would have done with one person, but to allow this tool, this little robot you make here, to do it for you 24/7, 365 without you being there. You are able to be there for everybody all the time, sharing the same information because you created this one resource. Are we tracking that? Quick show of hands. Does that make sense? Campaigns are magical. This is a thing that is absolutely like a centerpiece of our system, and a way that you should absolutely be using our system. And importantly, in particular, with a lead, like a funnel like this, where this is for leads, a funnel for leads, This is going to show them how and why to take next steps with you. This does apply to members as well. Let's just say if you want them to take advantage of a PV promo that month, but for leads in particular, you've always got to be showing people what's in it for them and what they need to do next, right? So if you're going to create a guide that teaches them how to get a result, you need to know, and that's what you use the planner for, what result that provides that is in the context of what you offer. So if you're going to teach them how to sleep better in your guide, how do you know that that ties into you being able to offer Young Living to them as a solution, right? Because you know that they've got a bigger problem you can help solve. Your campaign is what's going to break down that information and show them on an automated basis what it is that they can get from you that can help them solve that problem that they have now admitted they have because they opted in to get that result from you in your lead magnet. So let's talk about the different types of campaigns you can use. First is email. And listen, guys, fight me on this. Email is the undisputed king of digital marketing. Whether you feel like you don't like to open emails, or maybe you assume that others don't either, understand that there is no billion-dollar company in the world that does not utilize email as a primary means of marketing. All right. So email is the undisputed king of digital marketing, and you should absolutely be creating email campaigns. They're going to save you the most time, and they're going to earn you over time the most potential money, right? It is the undisputed king. So you want to be making email campaigns. Now you can use text. That doesn't mean that text isn't valuable, right? Text is extraordinarily valuable, but for very specific reasons. What text is really great for is for warm leads, right? So people who are already in your funnel, they're already familiar with you, or for your members. So you can get quick engagement and movement through your funnel, right? So text is a really great supplement in a campaign, typically, if you've got somebody who's already a warm lead. If you've got someone who's a member, text is extraordinarily effective. And we do have a couple of content providers. If you go to our GetOiling.com, you scroll down to our partners section, you'll actually see that there are several businesses with whom we work who create these campaigns for you that you use with text to keep a relationship with the members of your organization, again, without having to have it take up all of your time, right? Great use for it, not the best thing to use for leads only though. And then what I find to be most effective personally, and I'll be showing you how you can build these and how you can set these up, is a combination of email and text. And what I will be showing you as an example is a campaign where you send the bulk of the important message via email, and then you send a text message a few minutes later that tells them to go check their email. Right? So if you ever worry about or wonder if people will actually open emails and take action on what you're sending them, if you send them a combination text and email campaign that points them to their inbox, you better believe you're going to get far better open rates and action taken on the content that you send if you didn't do it this way otherwise. All right. And again, this is just a really great way for you to engage, because that's what text is really, really good for, is getting immediate engagement right now. And then of course, importantly, because you do get that immediate in your pocket ding when you get a text message, if that message says, hey, I just sent you something, you should really check your email right now, the likelihood of them doing that versus maybe never seeing it and it getting lost in the pile really changes, right? All right, so let's talk about what's in a campaign. So I want you to imagine that you are giving someone instructions or teaching them a concept, right? You're breaking down something. This could be, and we actually have a campaign written for you for your new members that breaks down the premium starter kit, right? So imagine you're taking something that may have some degree of complication, inevitably it will, and you want to show somebody how to get this result or how to do this thing. Imagine that's where you're sitting right now. What you're going to do is you're going to break that thing, that concept, that idea down into small steps, right? We don't want to provide novels to people when that's not what they're showing up for, right? We don't want to provide, epic sagas when people are showing up for bite-sized information. And that really is what information marketing should be from a lead generation perspective, but also importantly, when you think about your member education. You want to give them avenues for deep dives, but your campaigns, like what you're delivering, really needs to be something that they can see, take in, and take action on inside of a pretty short period of time, because let's be real, people have super, super short attention spans. All right. So then you're going to deliver those steps that you've broken down into a series of individual messages. Again, being done via email or text or a combination of the two. And then importantly, in those broken down messages, you're going to be delivering the context. What's in it for them? Why should they take this step? Right? So you've got a large concept, you break it down into 4 or 5 pieces. With each piece, you tell them what to do, and then you say, here's what you're going to get when you do this, right? And then a call to action. If you want to do this with me, if you want my help to do this, hit reply now, right? Provide context and a call to action when you're breaking this down. So let's talk about what campaigns can do. First, you can, as mentioned previously before, you can introduce your new members to Young Living, right? So breaking down seed to seal, sharing Gary's story, all of this kind of great stuff in an automated basis, and get them excited about the kit that's headed their way. Let them know about safety in the campaign. And again, I encourage you, if you haven't done this already, go check out our new member campaign that's already loaded up in the system. And if you want to copy that into yours, you can edit it to your liking, change it to your voice, or to specific products or details in your individual market. Now, you can also use campaigns for member education and engagement. This is a really great way for you to, on an automated basis, before the end of the month, just reach out and just be able to, with text in particular, to get people to respond to you with whom you can maybe help move toward their first ER order, right? Excuse me, right? So what we're doing here is educating members with our campaigns, but also providing an opportunity for you to go deeper with your people without having to chase each one of them down in the DMs and try to get them onto a one-on-one with you. Campaigns let you get in front of them so that the people that are ready can reach out and respond and work with you right now. All right, another thing that campaigns can do is deliver your lead magnets, right? So we've talked about lead magnets, what people give you their information in order to receive. And then automate the rapport building process, right? If you're writing your campaign emails like you speak or write or talk to another person who is your friend, then this person is, through the stories and the anecdotes and the information that you share in your campaigns, they're kind of getting to know you. They're deciding how comfortable they are with you so that they are better able to say, all right, I would like to have a conversation with this person. I think that they can help me get more of the results that I'm looking for. And then finally, importantly, move those people who are curious right now toward a one-on-one with you, because that's the whole goal of all of this, right? All right, so here's how we make campaigns, right? The first thing you do is you pick your delivery method, email, text, or both. Then you're going to write it out. Really importantly, do not do this inside of our platform if you are easily frustrated by tech, or if this is something that's new to you. If you are not someone who has been using autoresponders or our system on a weekly basis for a year or more, write this out first. And I tell you what, I've been doing this both with our system and with a myriad of other systems that are out there on the market for email marketing for almost 10 years. And I still write everything out in a word processor first. All right. And then so once you've got that written out and organized the way you want it to be, then you go over and you plug that into GetOiling. When you already know what you're going to say, you just go in, you plug it in, you format it to make it look the way you want, and then you're good to go. All right. So let's talk about our delivery methods. First, you've got email. This is where you can actually deliver your lead magnet via a link. You can produce education in this campaign series as well that helps to show that you're credible and helps to move them toward their next steps with you. This is the best thing to use by default. Text is something that you can use if you're looking for an immediate response. This is really great, again, for warm leads and existing members. And then, of course, if you want to use a combination, this makes text good for leads, it's a little bit more advanced. You would use the text to point them toward the inbox and then to engage with you on a more ready basis. All right, so let's talk about how we write our campaigns out ahead of time. Like I just mentioned, write it in a word processor first, importantly. Using an outline format in your word processor is a really great way to do this as well, because this is going to be sequential and it's going to help you know what's in what email. This is another kind of key tip here, guys. If you don't skip this step, then you'll miss out on a huge benefit. Create a document for your specific campaigns and save them on your computer, save them on your device, so that if information changes, you are able to go back and identify what message in what campaign needs to be edited in your system, right? This actually helps you a great deal for future maintenance of these systems that you're creating. Make sure that when you are writing an email for your campaign that you include an intention grabbing header. Right? Think about the emails that you receive, whether marketing or otherwise, that really compel you quickly to open and click. You can do what a lot of copywriters do and create a swipe file, SWIPE, which basically means that you keep a spreadsheet or a file inside of a file on your computer. And when you see an email that has a great header, then you copy that and you paste it in so that you've got inspiration when you are ready to write out your messages. This is something that you can do in a number of other ways as well. You can use swipe files for, for ads and funnels and pages, just to keep that inspiration there for you, to give you ideas as to how you can be speaking in this case or showing up in others. Then really importantly, this is a copywriting 101 skill. You got to write like you're talking one-on-one with your best friend. If you do this and you do this well, you are going to be approachable to the people who are your leads. They're going to feel comfortable with you, and they'll be that much more excited and ready to take next steps with you when you ultimately have your one-on-one with them. And then be very clear on what's in it for them. Don't think for a moment that even with your members, they've said yes to Young Living. Maybe they've even said yes to Essential Rewards. We are always selling them on what's in it for them, because people need to have a reason to take a next step, to make the next click, right? You need to show them what's in it for them so that they will do the thing that you want them to do. And remember, the very first thing, if you're using your funnel planner, that you're filling out is, what do I want this to do? What do I want this person to ultimately do? What's the step that I am hoping that they will take, right? So be clear on what's in it for them so that it's easy for them to understand why they should do the next thing, and be really clear and strong with your call to action. This specifically is what I want you to do next. If you don't tell them what to do, expect them to not do anything. All right, so let's talk about how we make these campaigns in GetOiling, starting with our email campaign. So under your contact settings menu, you're going to go over to campaigns and then scroll down till you see that little green button that says create campaign. Now for an email campaign, you're going to give it a name. You're going to use your name. If you are using an email only campaign, then select email only. I would only do this you could use a different setting, which I'll show you if you're going to do a combination of email and text. So we'll get into that in just a little bit. But I prefer for this to be email only so that you don't risk sending duplicate email and text out at the same time. Right? So like if somebody put their phone number in on a landing page and this is set up for both, then you do run the potential there of them getting in the campaign series the same message in their email and their text at the same time, which is not what we want here. So I would be intentional really in just having email only, unless you choose the advanced setting that I'll show you in just a little bit. All right, so let's talk about what you see here. With that green button, you're going to write the new message. The best and most popular option, the majority of the time, is going to be to start the campaign as soon as possible. You can start it on a specific date if there is a live event, like if you're doing a webinar style event, if you're doing a class or something like that, or if you are launching something, or in other cases, if let's just say you have a campaign that you send out at the first of the month, you can do that as well. Using, in particular, Grow Workspace campaigns, if you're using that system that we've taught in some of our other training. Now, this add existing message to campaign, I think the majority of the time you're probably not going to use this feature. Just understand that if you are going to use a different message or a message that was used in another campaign, if you edit it in this one, it's going to edit it in that one. So only use that if you are going to use something that has the exact needs met. And then of course we can go back to the previous screen by hitting edit campaign details. So once we have hit that write new message button, you're going to write your subject line, which is clear and engaging. And then what you see here is an example of a day 0 or an immediate email that goes out. Use your immediate email to share your lead magnet link, also to set expectations. This is what this is what you can expect from me. I'm going to be sending you an email once a day for the next 10 days or something to that effect. That way they're clear on what to expect from you and they know to come back. If you set expectations, people will return to their inbox to hear from you if you're giving them something that they want and they know that's how they can get it. So don't think for a moment that people aren't going to open emails. If you tell them that you're going to be giving them something fantastic via email, that they need to check it daily, they will, right? All right, so that's what we put there in the message body. Most of the time, you're going to leave this as all under the country setting. There are some times with text campaigns that you may need to change this, or if you are sending campaigns out that are maybe Young Living product specific for specific markets. All right, so once we've added this message here, you can add another one by hitting that green button again. You can also just make sure, again, if you are sending this via email only, then you can keep that default right there on the page. All right, so you click there to repeat. This next message, what you see here, number 1, this is going to send 24 hours later. So that'll send 1 day after that first one. You could send multiple emails on day 1 if you wanted to, if one of them was just a confirmation telling them to add your email to their contacts. That could be one, and the second one could actually be your first lesson if you're doing a series of emails that are lessons, just as an example. All right, so let's talk about our text series. If we're going to do a text campaign. Now, this is important. If you want to have a funnel that has a text-only campaign, there's a couple of specific considerations you need to make. First, your landing page has to have a phone number requirement or they're not going to get the campaign, right? So if you want to have a funnel with text only or text and email, in order for them to receive all of that information, you gotta have the phone number requirement. So just make sure that that box is checked when you set up your landing page. You want to link to actual pages, so your custom page, lead magnet, your PDF, blog post pages on your website from the campaign, because you're not going to be able to, on an automated basis, provide the same volume of information that you could in an email. So make sure that you are linking off to rich content. If you are really hoping to maybe turn a lead into a new member or something to that effect. Keep these short and casual, really importantly. You want to write your text, again, just like you would write an email, like you would text your friends, right? And you see it like shortened here, TXT, like use the same kind of short text language that you would normally use, what's natural for you. Read it back to yourself, test it on a friend. Does this feel like it sounds like me? But you really want this to feel natural and normal, because people are fine with receiving text messages. They'll opt in to get them. But if it sounds really kind of pitchy or weird, like that's going to be even more apparent in a text message than it typically is in an email. All right, and then you want to also aim for quick questions and engagement. Again, keep it short, specific, expecting a response from them. Now here's how you set up your text campaigns in GetOiling. You head over to contact settings, select campaigns, and hit create. Then on this page, very similarly to the email campaign setup, you're going to have a name. You're going to add your name to it. You can edit the country based on where you intend to share. Specifically, if this is text, you may want to share. You may want to edit this, right? You can select the format here as text only if this is text only. You give it a keyword if you want people to be able to access this campaign without the landing page. Now, I highly recommend, especially if this is for lead generation, that you use a landing page for this so that you have the opportunity to not just get their phone number with no name, but to get their phone number and their name and their email. It's just a better lead overall that way. But if you needed to, let's just say you had a campaign that you were using for an in-person event and you just wanted to let people know, hey, you can get this class by texting this number to this number, then that's how that works. Now, under your text in sending speed, you have two options. One of them is to send out day by day, so with the interval being days, and the other one with the interval being minutes. The minute option there is actually a really good option for you if you want to deliver a text-based class inside of a short period of time. Although text-based classes, typically where they're teaching Young Living product lines, those are really best for members unless you've got a prospect that you've already shared Young Living with, but they want to get more information about specific product lines that might be relevant to them. So don't use that kind of stuff like for just any old lead on the internet, right? All right, so over here in the right-hand column, we've already put our name in and we've edited where we're gonna share. You do have a couple of other options with a text campaign. If they want to, let's just say that you set this up as a day-to-day campaign that drips out a text every, once a day, right? If they want to get that class or that bit of information inside of a short period of time, you can give them an option to reply back with a sequential text and keyword. This is going to allow them, let's just say that you send a message and say, hey, this is what you can expect. You're going to receive a text a day for the next 5 days. But if you want to receive all of this in the next 5 minutes, text results fast to me right now, and you can get everything right now, right? All right, now, if they want to opt out of this campaign, you can specify the keyword that they can use here. If you rely only on stop, that opts them out of all campaigns, period, forever. So if they don't want this information anymore, go ahead and let them know if you want to do this, that they can say done, for instance, and that can take them out of that specific campaign. All right, now finally, if this campaign is connected to a vault, in the majority of cases for you, this is not going to be, unless of course, maybe you are trying to create some leverage here. If you want, if you've got a very large team and you want your members to be able to get access to your private member training vault, then you could create a campaign like this that could allow them to text in to get vault access. But we're not going over that today. Just know that that's an option if you wanted to give away a vault. All right, so then we save changes, we head over and we start making our campaign. So if you want to get back to the previous screen, you hit edit campaign details. You are most likely not going to use a message from another campaign, but you might with text, so that is an option. You'll write a new message, you'll decide whether or not this is something that starts right away or it's something that's related to a live event, a launch, or other date-based circumstance. Now you have two options when you include the body of your text. You could put it up there in the subject line. You could also put it down here alternately in this text if message sent by text field. Now, when a campaign is sent by text message, this is what it will send as. If you leave it blank, it'll send the subject line, all right? And it'll send a link to the body if you did write this more like an email and you wanted to treat this more like an email that you're writing. It would be basically just show them the subject line in the text and then give them a link to click where they would go off and read what you write in the body. What I recommend to keep this simple, especially if you are intentionally making this campaign for text only, is that you just write it in that subject line, right? Because you really don't want to make this a whole lot longer than the subject line. Because texting isn't really meant for like whole conversations, right? What you're doing with text, like you would be doing with email, is working to build rapport, right? And help move people toward a one-on-one with you. So sending them paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs of text-based information is probably not what they're looking for, right? All right, so if you're using a template or a canned response, good for you. This is excellent. You can use saved replies for this and preload text messages. So let's just say, for instance, that when you introduce yourself and you want to share a link to your lead group or something like that, you can have that already written up in a saved reply and just pull that down from the menu and pop that in there and just set it up the rest of the way if you want to add anything else, and then you're good to go. You also can use personalization tags in your text. So if you look up in the subject line there where it says, hey, contact first name, this is going to be, if the person's name is Jane, it's going to say, hey, Jane, so glad you're here. What are you looking to learn today, right? So you can use that. Highly recommend that you do that in text specifically. And it's excellent in email as well. It does improve open rates and the action that people take on your information that you're sending, because it really does feel like it is just you and them when it really could be you and 10,000 people at once, right? All right, so for our text campaigns, for any message that you send, for the same price of credits, you will be able to send up to 10 pictures with a text message, should you need to. Sending a message is, with an image is not a bad idea. I would do it sparingly, unless, of course, this is something that you are offering up as, say, a class from one of our content partners, because there are some really great text classes and images that are available for you to send out to your members this way. Again, with text, you may want to consider the country, based on where you are and where people are who will be receiving this message. Up to you. All right, so this is where we land after you create that, that message. If you selected text only in the campaign details, you don't need to change the send by, right? You can change the time of day that it sends with advanced features. That's something that's going to be available to you at premium and up with GetOiling, depending on your plan. You may or may not see that. Day 0 is going to mean that's sent right away. If you did set this up as a by the minute campaign, then that's going to send immediately. And then any subsequent message that you add beyond this, if you put 1 there, it means 1 minute later. If you put 5 in this field for the next one, the text would arrive 5 minutes after they opt in. All right, so you keep repeating by hitting that write that new message button. And then, of course, like I just mentioned, that 1 there is going to indicate days, unless you have set this campaign up for text to deliver by the minute. All right, so let's talk about this more advanced option of a combination of email and text. First, again, this is a little bit more advanced. If you just do email, you're gonna be great, okay? This is something that can improve your outcomes though. So you are going to wanna make sure that your landing page is set up to require a valid telephone number. And remember that text is going to be a supplement. Text is not the primary means of delivering value and building rapport. It is a supplemental one in this case. It's going to, for instance, tell them to go check their email inbox so that they can read the message that you just sent them. It could also prompt them to engage on those emails, to text you back and let you know what they thought about what they read there, or you ask them a very specific question that they can answer for you via text. This also prompts them to engage with you directly, right? So you're getting the best of both worlds when you're doing this. So here's an example of how this could work. First, you have that day 0 welcome email. Somebody opted in to get your lead magnet off of your landing page. So 5 minutes later, after that email arrives, they're going to get a text message from you that says, hey, this is me. I just sent you that thing that you asked for. Make sure you go check out your email right now and make sure it's there, and add this email address, my email address, to your contacts. Then the next day, you can have your whatever the series of content is that you're breaking down. And then 5 minutes later, send a text message that asks them if they're loving the information that you've sent to them. Now that they've had a chance to check it out, maybe they've seen some additional value from you in that email that you sent, you just send a text and say, hey, I sent you something yesterday and you just got a new thing in your inbox. How much are you loving this stuff, right? And then, of course, you can continue for as long as you intend the campaign to be with your email content. You don't have to send a text out every time, but at least, maybe the first time or maybe the second time, you do have that ability to get them into the habit of checking their email for you. So text kind of reinforces the habit that you want them to create. And then day 5, for instance, you could text them with a very specific question, a spear, to ask them if they need help with something that you can help them with. All right, so this is how you would set up an email and text campaign. This is what I would do if I were doing it. The bulk of your content will be sent via email, so prefer email here, okay? Use daily speed, normal speed, and save your settings. Then over on the page where you create and add your new messages, I want you to open up advanced features here. The first message should always be immediate or within a few minutes of opting in, and should definitely have email, or, well, the email should be like the big body of what you've got, right? But the text is something that you can send, just like I mentioned, to point them back to the email and start a conversation with you, all right? So you can use the email and text in your campaign for maximum impact. You can also change these things to a specific time of day. So let's just say, for instance, that you have you have a thing that you do. You go live in your lead group every Thursday at 4 o'clock. And so you can have this campaign start on a Thursday and then send out a text reminder, right? That's a kind of thing that you can do. I wouldn't do that with a funnel per se, but it is a cool automation that you can set up for yourself. So you can set the time of day that this sends. For instance, our default time is 5 p.m. Central. If you are on the other side of the world, 5 p.m. Central US time may be the middle of the night for you, and that may not be when you want to send your messages to the people that you want to be sending them to. So you can change the time of day for these as well. All right, so here's our best practices for our email and text campaigns. Really importantly, guys, remember this, learned this one from Ryan Deiss: short, specific, expecting a response. Spear is the way to go, especially with text, all right? And make sure that with text, you are opting for more short messages over fewer long ones, unless you are just a fantastic storyteller. This is actually true for email as well. And make sure that you're writing like you're speaking to your best friend. And don't forget the call to action. The whole point, remember, the very first thing that you enter on that funnel planner is, what is it that you want to get out of this? What do you want them to do? Your calls to action need to lead them toward that end, all right? Don't forget, once you've got this made, connect your campaign to your landing page, right? Select it from the drop-down menu on your landing page or on the lead form in the settings page of your custom page that you're using as a landing page in GetOiling, and then make sure that you save it, view it, and test it. Opt yourself in, confirm that you're getting those emails and texts in the pattern and interval that you have set up. So who's excited to get to work and make this work really well for you? Yes, there you are. Awesome. All right, so we're gonna head over to Q&A here in just a sec, but first, if I get out of the share, we are going to do quick little roll call. Do we have Lisa Drennan and Dee Castelli here? If you could let us know that you're here. We're gonna bring you out as panelists, and we will do a review of your sites because you asked for that today. Awesome. Hi, Lisa. Gonna allow you to talk. Welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great, doing great. So tell us a little bit about you and what you are wanting to accomplish with your GetOiling site.
Well, where to get started? I can go on for hours. So I've been with, I launched my business in October of 2019. I think I got a GetOiling site around February maybe. And I upgraded as I went, and I'm learning as I go. You do an awesome job teaching. I don't seem to, my bat signal wasn't really honed in until recently. So I was going to originally work with people with bronchial asthma, and I was really into the emotional part of it and the anxiety and all of that. So I kind of leaning towards working with women with emotional issues, you know, imbalanced hormones and things like that. So one of the things that was a turnaround for me was my attitude. I had this attitude that was just really stinking. So I started doing this gratitude thing, and I thought, I want to get into people with stinking attitudes. Most of the people I talk to are negative and this and that. So I came up with this attitude of gratitude funnel, 3-day challenge type of thing. And I think I did that like 2 weeks ago. So I literally have changed what I've put out there 4 times since I started my website. And I don't get any like cold leads, I guess. I don't get anyone registering for my thing. I share my my 3-day challenge, my attitude of gratitude on all of my social media sites, and I'm not getting any fish, I guess. Okay. I don't know.
Okay, great. Yeah. So let's, I'm going to share your screen. Or I should share my screen. I've got your website pulled up here, and I'd love to help you get clear on what you can do, right, to make this work better for you. So the first thing that I noticed here is up here at the top in our tab, we need to make sure that this has your name, or that you have some kind of copy here that says how you help people, right? Like what it is that you do for the people that you help. So, you know, live your best life with Lisa or something like that. Right now it says website theme. And I guess we'll maybe we'll just make like a quick little list here, and then Greg is going to actually show you where on your site you can make that specific change. So the first thing is going to be up there at the top. You just want to make sure that that's either got your name or it's got something speaking to what you do for people. Okay. Now, if what you're wanting to do, and I think there was a really key, really important thing that you need to understand where copywriting is concerned, is that most people who have stinking thinking don't know that they do. But what they do know is that they would like for their life to be different or better in a specific way. And you have the credibility of having gotten that better thing that they also want, and having been in their shoes. So what I would encourage you to do is just kind of flip this around, and instead of addressing the problem, address the solution, right? Talk to them about what they want, because that's what people tend to take action on. And the people that you want to be attracting are people who want a thing, not people who want to complain about a thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's the same person. You're just turning it around a little bit. That's going to get you better quality leads, and it's going to help people better connect that you're a solution for them. Otherwise, you're just maybe somebody who, okay, yeah, that sucks. I deal with that too, or whatever. Or maybe they even feel called out, right? This is going to be the case, especially if we're talking about emotional or mental well-being, but then also along the lines of compliance. Now, this is really important. If anywhere on your site you have Young Living distributor or Young Living anything showing up, period, you got to be really careful about your hot words. And so if you are talking about specific conditions, and that's fine. I mean, if it's your passion to serve people who are dealing with a specific ailment or issue, again, be thinking about not the label, not the symptom, not the name of the condition, but talk about what they want, right? Talk about what they want on the other side. They want to have energy again. They want to feel like they don't have 1,000 pounds on their shoulder when they wake up every morning. You know what I mean? Like they want to have something. Talk about what they want to have. That's going to keep you in compliance, and it's going to keep people listening to you because you're kind of in their head and talking to them about what they want to hear, right?
Okay.
All right. So one of the first things that I noticed here is we've got a section with a bunch of buttons, and these are really cool. I like what you did. You want to make sure where you have contact me, that the link on that button shows #contact.
Okay.
Right? Because this one isn't going anywhere. I noticed this one goes off to your Facebook group, which is cool. Shop appears to go off straight to your Young Living. Let's see, and if I could go back. All right, there we go. Blog is going off to your blog. That's great. So basically, you've got a few things here. Your consultation, you just want to make sure that you have the hashtag in there, like the link being contact on the consultation, because this one isn't directing correctly either. It's going to a blank page. But here's what I would say about the top of your website, and this is true for everybody. You know how in newspapers, I hope everyone here is like old enough to have remembered having newspapers, but
no one delivered.
Exactly, right? So if you notice, obviously you got the title of what the paper is, if it's the Times or whatever, it's up there at the top. But then the big story, which is the reason why most people buy a newspaper, has some kind of an image, but most importantly, it's got big bold copy, and it's got this area that's referred to as above the fold. So it's the thing that if you see it in the in the newspaper dispenser or on the counter somewhere, the thing above the fold is the thing that's going to compel someone to take an action. So above the fold is going to be when somebody lands on your website, it's the stuff that they see first. And there's a couple of things that are really important for you to include above the fold. One of them is a really clear statement about how you help that person that just arrived there, right? Okay. I help blank person get blank result. And that needs to be as big and bold as centered and eye-catching. That's the most important thing you can have there. Because that's what's going to keep them from going, oh, this is a lot of stuff, and then getting distracted and watching cat videos, right? Because that's what people do. Like, you want to show them what's in it for them, what's in it for them, what's in it for them as often as possible. So having that front and center on your homepage is going to really help you. And then I would actually, in your case, I would limit the number of these buttons and links. up here. You want to, and because what you want to be able to do for the links that you're offering, and this is just above the fold, further down on the page, you can put as many other directions that you want to be able to offer people. But what you want when you see, you land there and above the fold, it says, I help this person get this result. The only option that you really want them to take right there is to do the thing that takes them to the next place. You want them to take action on them seeing, oh, that's me. Now what do you want them to do? Now, obviously this isn't a landing page, this is your home page, but you want to kind of keep that similar philosophy there. Okay. Give them as few options as possible while their attention is focused on that statement. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I help women like you get this kind of result. If this is you, click here. And maybe that takes them over to, a lead magnet that's like really laser targeted for that kind of person. And maybe in that funnel, you're offering them an opportunity to get on a one-on-one call with you, right? What I would do as well is on your homepage, I wouldn't provide any links off. If you're using your homepage like this to try to get leads who are not, people who are not already in Young Living, I want you to remove everything that is actually a link to Young Living. Because what you're kind of doing there is you're showing them everything right out front. And when people feel like they already know, what reason do they have to pursue more information, right? Okay. So you want to kind of keep that element of curiosity there. So what I think just as an option for you, I would consider putting some kind of, maybe as a picture of you, you've got a couple ones here, I would just go with one and have that sort of, what I do statement with a call to action for them to get a lead magnet or something like that. And then the additional stuff could certainly be in a site menu or further down on the page.
Okay.
Yeah, and you've got so much great content here. I would recommend that, again, you provide sort of doors for people to go off to other places, right? You want the web page to really just kind of say, this is who I am here for, and a little bit of this is who I am, which you've done here, which is great. This is who I'm here for. Here's a little bit about me, credibility wise. Here's what you really should do if you're reading this and you feel like I'm someone that's for you. This is really, really what you should do. And then you let them scroll further, and then you say, and oh, by the way, if you want to read my blog, here it is. If you want to join our community, here it is. If you want to, check out my resources, as you've probably got some affiliate links down here, then here's what you do, right? But just make sure that above the fold is very clean and is very compelling of them to take a specific action. So, this, detox for a healthy gut, this can be on the other side of a landing page. How to detox for a healthy gut. Did you know that not having, that if you feel, frustrated or irritated all the time, your gut may be out of balance, get my video that shows you how to detox your gut for, so that you're a happy person again, right? Like, this is actually something that you could be getting leads off of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't really know how to do multiple leads, I guess, because when I've tested the website to do the landing page, right? So if somebody registers, there's only one page they can go to. And then if I wanted someone to go to a different page, I'd have to send them the link.
Right. So, I mean, what you do on a regular basis, right, is if you get people, let's just say that someone comes to your site here and they want this, you called it a challenge, right? And so here's your, this is great. They want access to this, they sign up, right? So what you do is, and if you're following the whole system, and I know you're part of Martha's programs, if you're following the whole system, what you've got is that people get in this way, but then every time you write a blog post, you send an email out and that sends them back to the site. You create a new thing, you send an email out that sends them back to the site, right? The only way people are going to keep coming back is if you tell them to. And you do want to provide them some additional options on the front page of your site to engage, but you don't want to overwhelm them with options because the likelihood of them taking the most valuable option you want them to take really slims down. So you can have several different lead magnets that you offer, one being this challenge here. Although I will say, this is like, for the sake of congruency, having challenge here on the button on this page, this doesn't really tell them what's in it for them. And this is kind of part of the reason why we want to really slim down the visual options that you're calling them to take so that you're able to provide context. Because I have no idea what challenge means, right? I have no idea. That's not you. I have no idea what challenge means. But when I get over to this page, I see that I'm being told that I have a bad attitude. This goes back to that first thing we were talking about, where we really kind of want to talk about what they want, right?
Right.
Because I think that if someone was really feeling that way, they might feel a little called out. And when people feel called out, they get defensive and they don't necessarily take the action that you want them to. So what you could say is like, you know, this used to be me. And keep this picture. This is great. This used to be me. I used to feel like this all the time. But I realized that there were a couple of key things that I could do, and it really wasn't that hard. And all of a sudden, I am the person everybody wants to be around. If you want to return to that happy person and, you know, experience X, Y, and Z that they want, not what they don't want, but what they want. And then, of course, I'm going to say, sign me up. What did you do in 2 minutes a day to like get you feeling like a happy person again? Like, you know, end the Eeyore in your personal life or something like that. So yeah, this is. So this is a thing that you can offer, like you have from the button here. And then I noticed you do have a pop-up. If I could get it to come back, it might be a timed pop-up. All right. So yeah, what I would do on your homepage here is really kind of drill down. And I know you've got these tools because you're working with Martha. Really drill down on who it is that you help and how, and make a statement about that that's bold and above the fold, that has a button that takes them to the next step. Could it be to get them on a call with you? Sure. It would be better. It'd be more advantageous to provide them something that's a little more value building in the interim. So what's something that you can give that person? And then all you really have to do here is make that a pop-up on this page, right? So they click that button, it says lead, and that opens the lead form, which you do have a lead form on this page, but you just need to make sure that the one that you use is congruent with that value statement up top. And then again, a little further down, hey, here's more stuff that I have and that you can take advantage of. And you can have that, you know, down here below the fold. Above the fold is where you're going to have the best lead generating potential. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being willing to come out and show us this. And Greg, if you're able to show your screen, there's two things really that I saw just in terms of like, we need to address this. Actually, three. First is the name and the tag or the tab of this. The next one is the hashtag contact on this button, and then on her pop-up there's a URL in the title.
Yeah, I can walk through those. Can you,
Thank you.
I don't know if you made me
Make you a
co-host yet.
panelist. Yes,
Yeah.
sorry about that. All right. You are now a co-host.
There we go.
Thanks.
Okay, sharing the screen here. Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
Hi. All right, I got your account here. Looking for this page. So the custom page builder, I know somebody had commented as well, like how do you customize your home page? That is down here under the My Site menu under settings, which is where we'll find your page that we're looking at. This custom pages button. And let's see, what was the name of this one? Website homepage, probably is my guess. Yes. I think is the one we were looking at, just based on the name there. So yeah, to fix those couple things, it's actually really pretty simple to do that. I'll start with the page. Actually, I'll just start with the button here. So we've got the contact me. I think the consultation actually goes there. To just change the link on the button, just click on the button and then click this little pencil icon. And the URL should not be that. All it just has to be is the hashtag contact. And then update. And we can do the same thing here. I know Ashley recommended slimming down the buttons, but I'll swap this one out too. This one has the same thing. So just hashtag contact and then update. And then that will take care of that. The other two, let's see. So under settings, this is where your title bar text is. So you can see up here where it says website theme, that is what's going to show up here in this title bar text area.
Okay.
So if this is, I'll just put your name in there for now. And then the other thing that may be useful here is changing this. I don't know if you have this link somewhere, so I won't change this in case it breaks a link. But this would probably make more. Oh, you don't? Okay. So if this is just if this is just out there, then I can.
I didn't really know what to put, and every time I looked at it, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to go with whatever. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I mean, you could certainly leave it as website. You could leave this field here as website homepage because that is your internal name for it. That's how you would find it. Sometimes it's really nice to know that it's under website homepage. That's totally cool. But this is what people will see here with the title bar text and the link, potentially the link path. So in this case, maybe you could probably just put your name in there if you want to. If you come up with something else like Lisa, Dren, and I help whoever do, you know, achieve some goal like Ashley was talking about, you could also put that in here too. Because this, the title bar text and the link path, if you have these publicly visible on your website such that Google can find them, these two do rank pretty highly when it comes to search engine optimization. And then whatever's kind of, like Ashley was saying, above the fold there as well.
okay,
So,
so on the link path, I'm
yeah,
sorry. So on the link path, you would actually you could type something like how you help people, like a little message.
Well, what that does, this shows up here. You can see like previously it was website homepage with a dash. That's going to show up right here. So you don't have a ton of room, and you probably, you know, maybe 5 or 6 words, something like that. Maybe 10. It depends on how big they are. But it would show up here, and this would be in the link if you would give that link to someone to take a look at your site. So that's, you know, it's important. You can't stuff it full of like 100 words or something, which would be kind of nice. But it's just something short, relatively short. That's, you know, this shows up. Google looks through these words and, you know, other search engines to see what keywords might match, as well as your title bar text here too.
Yeah, that's advantageous for being found, you know. So if you're an acupuncturist in Vancouver, then you can put acupuncturist, like Vancouver acupuncturist, in that link path, and that's going to help you get found more organically on Google. That's a little bit more advanced, but that's a really good point, Greg.
Well, that's good to know, because when I get certified for coaching, I could, you know, either put the Ula Life Coaching or the Aroma Freedom in there.
That's
right.
right.
Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, you can do something like that. Also here, you can, I know it, even if you put spaces in there, let me see here. If you even put spaces in there, it'll convert it to dashes, because spaces are kind of ugly and links, they don't work very well. So it always does that for you. But yeah, you could do something like this. I know you're not quite there yet, so that was just kind of an example. So as far as the pop-up, before I save any of this, let me go refresh here so I can get your pop-up back. I'll mouse out here. So this little bit up here looks like there's a URL in there that's popping up. When you're editing, that's under the lead capture settings. And that's just this headline. It looks like you've got a pretty nice setup here going on. So I would probably just delete this unless you need that link for something else. But I saw that was kind of your homepage now anyway, so you probably have that link. So really, just delete that out of there. If you want something else to appear there, you can, but you already have a headline, so it's a bit redundant. I'd probably just leave it off. Would be my recommendation there. So once, do you mind if I go ahead and save this and we can check it out and see what it looks like?
Absolutely. Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and save it. You notice the link path is a little bit different, so I won't be able to just refresh. So I'll save it here. I'll have to close this tab and then view. And then now we get to see all the changes that have been made. So in this, instead of saying website homepage right here, it says your name now. The headline or that URL is gone, which visually I think looks a lot nicer. And then this contact me and the consultation button will pop up this nice looking box. So those changes I think are 3 pretty simple ones that will definitely help out along with all the other content and other strategies Ashley shared with you.
Awesome. Hey, Lisa, thank you so much for being willing to do this today. And we've got one more member that, if you are here, I think I saw you, Dee. We are going to go ahead and take a look at your page as well. There we go. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much. This is so cool.
Yeah, we're excited to be able to do it. All right, so here we are. All right, great job first. This is great. That you've got certified aromatherapist up top here. This is excellent. This is very clean, right? So when we were talking about above the fold, you do have some of that happening here. But I would actually encourage you to take this bit here and maybe expand it a tiny bit. So whose health are you really working to transform? How can we make this just a little tighter and a little more clear to exactly the person that you want to be working with? And then the call to action can be join me in a workshop. And then of course they can click the button for upcoming workshops. So I would just say tweak this a little bit. It's got a nice bright color that grabs your attention. And I imagine this is along the lines of your branding here as well. Good job. Having that green there, it's my favorite. All right, so you've got your story. You are talking about your online workshops and clicking off to that, talking about the workshops again, and then of course a webinar, which I believe is a lead magnet for you. And then you do have a pop-up here, which this is actually, you grab this one. This is one that's built into the GetOiling system, right?
Yes, I love it. I delivered it to myself and I love it.
Excellent, excellent. So guys, there's actually a lead magnet that we already have that you can have access to. You just need to grab the link to it from inside of the new prospects campaign. And what she's done here is just to grab the image and put that in. And there's already it's a PDF lead magnet that's pre-written and ready to go for you. Very cool.
I actually think it's the default pop-up in one of the templates. I don't remember which template it is too, but when you're making a new page, the lead capture box already has the link in there for you. So
yeah, it was actually part of the original template for the page when I went to create my own homepage, and I said, oh, I like that. I'm going to leave that, but I dropped it at the bottom. Yep.
Excellent. And is the thing that you're delivering, is that the PDF that's in the system, or is it something else? Perfect. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, saves you some time. All right. So it's cool that you are an aromatherapist and that you've got that here. You are talking about what makes them so powerful. Here's what I would recommend. Actually, before I go over to this, let's talk about this really quick. You do want to have some kind of edit happening here where you get a little more clear on who it is that you help. And then here, what I would encourage you to do as well is really just kind of speak your story like you're speaking to one other person who is struggling with something that you used to struggle with. Okay. So that they know that this is about them, because they're coming to this page more often than not because they have received the perception, whether that be from content of yours that they've seen, from being connected to you on a profile on one of your social accounts. They have received some kind of information that's indicated that you're someone that can help them with something. So when they land on this page, they need to see what's in it for them as quickly as possible, with a clear call to what they can do next and what they can get for it. So I do really like that you've got your workshops up here. It would be slightly more effective potentially for lead generation, depending on your lead generation strategy. Namely, if you are ever going to do paid advertising, I would encourage you to have whatever your button call to action is to actually be linking to a lead form. So, so like for this one right here, you would want that above the fold if you ever do paid ads. But if you're doing this from content and, it's a lot of kind of warmer traffic that's coming here, this should be fine. Now, guys, check this out. Dee does a lot of, I'm bragging on you, Dee does a lot of events.
Thank you.
Clearly. And so you got like a whole menu of all of these great events that you can join Dee live for. And I assume you're going to be doing these live on Zoom, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, right within GetOiling. Love it.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. All right. So yeah, these are great. I'm glad that you have this here. This provides a lot of opportunity for people. Just bear in mind that, again, the colder the traffic source, the more you're going to want to try to get their email as quickly as possible so that you can start developing that relationship with a campaign and then pointing them over to a page like that where they can kind of choose from a menu of options. So that's one recommendation I can make, and really all that is just swapping out the links, and the copy for those two buttons, which is really straightforward. I think you've got that figured out. And finally down here, I would get a little more clear on your copy with this. Learn what makes essential oils so powerful. I think that most people don't know that they're powerful, and if they don't know, then they probably don't care that they are. How can we talk about what essential oils can do for them in the context of what you know and who the person is that you help, so that they can see that, did you know that essential oils can help you get this result? Click here to learn about that and how powerful these amazing things are, one drop at a time or whatever, right? So that way, again, what we're doing, I mean, this isn't about you section, right? But what this really is about them. This is an opportunity for you to show credibility, that you know what you're talking about, after you've said, hey, here's what I can help you do.
I like that.
Here's why I know what I'm talking about. Come check it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah,
so
about you is really about them.
Yes, make it about them. All right, so under your site menu, I would say, let's see, complimentary webinar, excellent, workshops.
That emotional wellness webinar, that's the one that has the new lead magnet that I was doing based on the other one.
Ooh, I like this.
That was last week's.
Okay.
And so then I was swapping between the one pager and then the one that says unlock the secret and drops down to the second one. But the feedback I got from some friends was they really liked the one with the more detail, this one here.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. So that gives them a little more information, and then they give me their information.
Yeah, definitely. And where you're offering something that is shorter like this, you could even just call it a video. You know, even if it's a recording of a webinar, typically where I would use the language webinar is when it's something that's longer format, or something that is live, right? So if it's a live event, we can, you know, that really kind of, because you want to think about how it's translating in their mind. Usually a webinar is more of a commitment. What you want to stress if you're offering something that's 8 minutes long is that there's a real benefit here. In 8 short minutes, you're going to learn this and this and that. And people are going to be a lot more likely to say, okay, I've got 8 minutes to watch that, right? Whereas if you say webinar, while webinar does typically read high value, what you're ultimately going to wind up potentially doing in your prospect's mind is making them think that there is like, you know, that it's a bigger thing. It feels bigger. And really, like, it's kind of funny to think about it this way, but it's so true. When we're talking about trying to get people to do things on the internet, you really do have to start thinking about how you speak to them in a way that you might speak to a 4th grader. And I'm not kidding. Like, this is like, you have to say, now do this. Now do this. You can't make any assumptions about what somebody's going to do, what action they're going to take. If you want them to scroll down and watch a video, sometimes literally you actually have to put in bold text, scroll down and watch the video, because people are really not paying close attention. This is not just true for leads. It's true in courses. Martha and I were back and forth about this earlier today. They didn't know there was a video. There's a thing that says scroll down to watch the video. So make sure that you're backing that up as much as possible, and not getting people to think that they, you know, that they're done when they're not. All right, because they will, and they'd be wrong. All right, so another thing importantly, again, if you want to use this for leads, I would take the Young Living stuff off of the main menu, and I would have that on a separate page. Now, if you were creating this just as something that is of service to your members, then fine. But what you wind up doing, as I was mentioning just a little bit ago, is you wind up kind of, you know, showing everything so nobody has, you know, a reason to come ask more, right, to learn more. So it's not to hide anything so much as it is to best facilitate the ultimate goal, which is not to just point them to a link and hope that they do something with it, but to point them to an opportunity to go one-on-one with you. Because if you want to have people sign up, and not just sign up, but get onto Essential Rewards, not just get onto Essential Rewards, but get excited about sharing and duplicate and so on, all of that is always going to be duplicable and shareable via a conversation, and never via just hoping somebody does a thing with the link. Because like I mentioned, if we aren't looking at this like we're trying to get a 4th grader to do a thing on a computer, then our likelihood of success in having them do what we would want them to do really just, I mean, it really shrinks. So that's, I mean, that's really it. Is there any questions that you had? Because I mean, you've done a good job here. You've got, like, you know, it's clear that you're, you know, technically you understand how this works. But yeah, like what kind of questions do you have?
Okay, so my question was in that, so in the ones, if you go to site menu, the one complimentary webinar, I actually do get a lot of people clicking on that. That's the Essential Oils 101.
Okay.
That was in the 90-day startup, which, by the way, a year later, I'm still doing.
But are you talking about our 90-day challenge?
Yes. So, okay.
You're not alone.
I did that. Yeah, I did that early on, and I made my own little EO 101, and I made my own first lead page. So this was my very first attempt, and it links out to my YouTube. So
okay.
Once they give me this information, how do I have it sent up? I think it says the next screen tells them, thanks so much for requesting, check your email, and you'll get that.
Got you.
And so then, yeah, so then if you did that,
Right.
you could see it. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's fine.
So,
Yeah.
so here's what I would recommend just to make this more effective for you. If you've already had a conversation and it's time to show them Young Living, it doesn't matter what's on this page because you are directly facilitating that process. If this is something that you just want to have available for people to peruse when they want to, this is a great way to do it. But again, what I would really recommend that you do is consider who your person is and why they would want this information and what life could look like once they have it and do something with it. So I would really edit your copy up in that way. I would also consider even swapping this out to really, again, speak to what they want, to make this about them. And then in here, you can ask them a question or, you know, what would life look like if ... you know, like, or, you know, are you struggling with ... And then of course you add, you know, access this recording of this 15-minute video that I made that's going to show you, and, you know, throw some bullet points in there, how you can get this benefit, how you can get this benefit in 5 minutes a day, and how you can get access to what I use at 25% off retail, and then let them go over and fill out the information.
Okay.
So I would update the copy in that way. And then let's see. All right. Thanks for requesting. Message back. What was the best thing you enjoyed? And okay. So this is something that you're going to want to have in a campaign.
Right.
What you want to do on this pop-up is say, so excited you just registered. Head over to your email right now and make sure you add, and if you use the customization tag, my_email in this field, it's going to automatically populate the email address from you that they need to add to their address book. So what you want to put on this confirmation page is, you know, hey, thanks, there's something coming to you right now. Right now, go add me to your, you know, to your address book.
Okay.
So that you can get what you came for and receive additional information from me. All right.
Got it. Okay.
All right. So we're heading over here to YouTube. Ooh, this is your opportunity page. Excellent.
Yeah. So that's what I had done with the opportunity page, and that's my little 15-minute recording, and it dropped in there. And
oh, this is excellent. Yeah. So guys, what you're looking at right here is Dee customized her opportunity video. And I guess that's something that we could definitely show, Greg. She customized her opportunity video and loaded it up here. And this is the opportunity page that is built in on your GetOiling site that you can use as well. So you'll have this exact same theme. You just add your own video to it.
Yep, exactly. So then what's different in the new lead page that I did with the emotional wellness was based on what we talked about last week. It doesn't go to the opportunity page. It doesn't link to YouTube. It links to a Vimeo instead. And that's what pops up as the deliverable. And they, yeah. So then this does it completely different.
Oh, I see.
So now it's dropped in here the way we learned last week.
Okay. Okay. That's great. So what I would actually suggest that you do with this is that you put this, and this isn't a bad idea, what you've done here, to be fair. But I would actually recommend that you put this onto a custom page, embed this on a custom page, kind of like you would a lead magnet, like we've shown before. That way you can utilize the button for a call to action beneath the video. You know, so if you love this, it's time to schedule a one-on-one call with me. And then you have that, you know, that contact pop up. It allows you to do more with the person. So what we're looking at right here, again, it's not a bad thing at all. You could leave it this way, especially because you're probably going to have some amount of one-on-one with the person that's going to be engaging with this. But the most effective way to utilize a video like this is to be on a page where you can have that additional, that button, that call to action, so that they can do the next thing. This is great. I love it. Oh, when you're in Vimeo, just so you know, because again, like we want to limit options as often as possible for people to, you know, do anything other than take the action we want them to take. There is in your settings for Vimeo, you can actually remove everything, all of these links, so that it just shows up with the video, and that's going to be your best bet for that. Because again, you know, maybe they'll go off and they'll Maybe they'll go check out your channel and then they won't actually click the next button. And maybe you have other videos here and you don't want them to see those unless they are in the funnel. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
Awesome. So where are we redirecting to? Oh, now this goes over there.
So my goal was to use this to get them to actually come to a live event, because what I recorded was actually sort of like a little tickler of here's what, you know, and I mentioned it a few times in the video. So in our live workshops, this is where we would do some Q&A, you know, so.
Okay. Yeah, so I like this idea, and I think that what may be really effective for you would be to take this events page and have this be in the signature of every email with a call to action. Are you registered for one of my upcoming live events? Make sure you are. Click here now, and just have that be a thing that follows you around everywhere. The only downside to driving traffic to this page is that it doesn't have a singular clear function for lead generation. You do have the ability for somebody to click off, but the longer someone is on a page where they are not putting in their information, the least likely they become to put in their information, if that makes sense. And again, it kind of depends on how they're arriving there. But if this is a page that you are continually pointing people back to, then that's excellent. And it actually wouldn't even be a terrible idea if this was just something that lived in your site menu, and that, you know, again, using your campaign every time you touch on someone to share a blog post or to share a social post or whatever, you're saying, oh, hey, by the way, I've always got an amazing stack of interesting live events, you know, on the calendar. Make sure that you're signed up for one. They're totally free. Head over here now. Right. And then you can, you know, even in a text, like we were talking about in campaigns today, you can have a text, like a supplemental text message that goes out in that campaign that says, hey, I just added a new event to the upcoming events list. Have you registered for one yet? And then let them say yes or no, shoot them a link to this page, that kind of thing. But this is going to be more like what you point leads back to. You really want to get, I mean, the goal really needs to be as many people who land on this page need to sign up and be on your list.
Okay. Yep.
Because that's really going to get you the biggest bang for your buck.
Right,
So,
right. So the
excellent.
upcoming workshops, that should be one of those others.
Correct.
That
yeah.
they could watch the free video and then from there go to the free workshop. So that would be more the flow.
That's right. That's right.
Okay,
yep.
got it.
Yep. And that also kind of builds, it builds a little more perceived value into your workshops as well. Like maybe they don't really get offered them until they're on the other side. Maybe you say, you know, hey, I am an expert speaker on these topics, and I regularly give live talks. If you want to get a taste of my latest live talk that talks about XYZ benefit, register here. Then that's, you know, then that 8-minute video is your lead magnet. And then you have a button below that video that says, you know, check out my upcoming workshops. And then of course in those emails, hey, workshop, right?
Yes, love it. Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, of course. So, Greg, I'm totally forgetting what it was I said we were going to show her how to do.
I think it was customizing the opportunity page link to the video.
Let everybody
there.
see that. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. That'll be quick and simple here. Let me get the shared out here. So this is Dee's back office here. So it's under customize my site in the menu. Click on that. And then there's just the link right here. So she's got her YouTube video URL right pasted in there, which you can grab, you know, when you're looking at YouTube. The page will just have the address up here in the address bar when you're looking on YouTube. And that'll show up right on her opportunity page. So if I go to, I think that was under here somewhere. Was it this one right here? Oh no, that's a video. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that was on the other side of a landing page actually.
Oh right, it's probably, I know this is a built-in page, so let me just go right here. I think this is what it's called. But yeah, so this is what that page is right here. So this is the video that she has put in there. And then the rest of this is the built-in theme. So yeah, pretty simple, just paste in a link.
Awesome, excellent work, Dee.
Looks good.
You guys are great. You got a great team and a great product.
Thank you. Thank you. And I definitely, like, I see people in the chat, they're like, I want to review. I want to review. Guys, this is something that we could do anytime. This is always an option that's available to you. That's literally why we started doing these live sessions, not just to get training out there to help you understand how to get this stuff done, but to actually get our hands in there with you, look at what you're doing and show you. So for those of you who get stuck and you're like, oh, I need to know all the things and it's not good enough, if you're a perfectionist, push through. Bring us what you're working on so that we can help you make it better, right? That's what these sessions are for. So let's hop over to our Q&A. And yeah, thank you guys for sticking around for so long. All right. Deb says, I have a funnel already that is a slideshow complete with audio. Would you add that to my GetOiling website? Yes. So if that is a slideshow with audio, then I hope that is a video file. Put that either on YouTube if it's for leads, or if it's something that's a more premium thing, put it on Vimeo, like you saw Dee's video. So yeah, it just really depends on what it is that you're giving away. And the thing is, the funnel, what is the entire apparatus that we've been covering, right? Where someone enters on a lead magnet, receives a enters on a landing page, sorry, receives a campaign, receives the lead magnet that they came for. So if what you're talking about is a slideshow with audio, video, then this would be a lead magnet. And so you want to watch the lead magnet video for this training, follow the steps that are there to probably, in your case, embed the file that you have, video, or maybe it's a sway, depending on what you use, onto a custom page and GetOiling. That would be the thing that is connected to a landing page, either as a redirect or connected to the campaign as a link. All right, can you link a campaign from other sources? Robbie, if you receive, if you are a member of one of our content partners, you can actually import their campaigns that they wrote for you directly into your GetOiling account. Excuse me. Otherwise,
Robbie had another clarifying, if you scroll down a little bit.
Oh, good.
A clarifying answer on that. Saying, yeah.
I see. Okay. Well, so it's not going to import. It's not like click a button and import it. But if you have the text that's pre-written, just like we talked about in the campaigns today, you know, where you would put them into a, a word processor and then copy and paste over and format, and then you're done. That's absolutely something you could do. Just make sure you're clearly labeling the campaigns, what they're for, so that when you're on the landing page and putting it together, you know exactly which campaign to pick. But yes, totally. Yeah, if you have multiple income streams, if you have multiple businesses, you can run multiple things from our platform. You just need to make sure that your branding is clear for what's what, and that you've got the, everything set up the right way. But yeah, you absolutely can do multiple things with us. All right, how do you know when to start someone on the next campaign? I don't want to overload them with too many emails. So the thing about campaigns is, if you're using funnels, the way that we're teaching here is that they decide. And that's really the best way to go. The burden is off of you. And you are, then able to know that people, if they want to get 20 emails from you a day, they can, but you aren't forcing that on them, right? So use landing pages as often as possible, or text in keywords if it's a text class, so that they choose when they get what they get and how. All right, Debbie says, on our campaigns, if we send them as an email and text, do they go out as both or one or the other? I have some members that have opted out of text, but didn't think I should double up for those that haven't by sending them via both. So if, and Greg, you might be able to help with this a little bit. There are ways that, like, if you on a landing page require email and phone number, that both of those things go out at the same time, and they're the same thing going out at the same time. And I'm not sure exactly which setting, but what I showed you today, because I don't like having both things. I don't want duplicate stuff going out. I don't want like the same thing going to email and text at the same time. That just doesn't, I don't like that experience personally. I don't want my people to have it. So if you are intentional and it is an email campaign, then you select email only. If it is a text campaign, you select text only. And if it is both, you select email preferred if you're doing it the way that I taught earlier today. But is there anything that you would add to that, Greg, just to make sure that like the tech end of that is covered?
I think that covers it pretty well. If your campaign is set to email and text, it actually won't send both unless, well, here, let me share up my screen. Briefly, I can show you the setting. Let's see here. Okay, so I switched over to a demo account. Let me pull up my, well, actually, no, I'm going to pull up a campaign and show you what setting I'm talking about. So if we pick a campaign, I'll just pick any random campaign here on this setting. And if it's set to this email and or text, use the contacts preference setting. Then what happens is on the contacts page, like when you're coming in here and you edit a contact, there's a field down here called send campaigns by. So if you have that campaign set on that setting I just showed you, and you have both of these boxes checked, then yes, they will get both. And this is how it is set up if they opt in on a landing page and they fill out both email and phone. So that does happen from landing pages frequently. So that's where that preferred setting comes in on the campaigns. And Dee actually has a question about that, which ties in nicely with this, about what does exactly preferred mean? And you can set preferred both at the campaign level as well as an individual message level, the latter if you're on the premium or higher plan. So if you set these campaigns to either text preferred or email preferred, then what happens, let's say in this case with text preferred, if I have this one, it looks at each contact. So as the system is sending out the message, it looks at the contact and says, okay, do they have a phone number and are they opted in to text? If not, it's going to go fall back and try to use email, and it goes through that same sort of decision-making process about email as well. So basically this will fall back to email if for some reason you can't text the person, or vice versa. If you have email preferred, let's say they don't have an email address, it'll go send it out by text. So hopefully that helps explain your question there, Dee. But yeah, I mean, most of the time, this one probably isn't an awesome option if you do plan on doing text. Like you're saying, Ashley, go with one or the other, or one of the preferred options.
And I think Dee was asking for more detail on what preferred means. I think this would just be something that you would put up if, let's just say that that you have both in a campaign or something like that, but you have both contact pieces of information, email and phone. Maybe they're opted out of one, they get the other. Is that accurate, Greg?
Yeah, or if they have both, it'll only send it by the preferred option.
Okay. So that may be an option as well if you just want to make sure that you aren't like if all things are the same, it's not going to send it both ways, but it'll be able to reach everyone whether you have correct email or phone for them. It'll do either or. Right.
Yeah. The only setting that potentially will send to both is this one here, this email and or text at the campaign level.
All right, Meg asks, when you make a campaign, do the emails that go out day by day count for the amount limit for our plan? Like if you have the availability to create 10 campaigns with our plan, does each day's email count as an individual campaign? So no, the emails are inside the campaigns, and what you're talking about in terms of the limit for your plan is marketing credits. And for emails, like they're really, really, really cheap. And so you can have as many campaigns as you want. The marketing credits are going to correspond with the number of people who have opted in and are receiving the number of emails in that campaign. So every message that's in the campaign is going to count for whether it's email or text, that related number of marketing credits. And then it's just based on how often it's sent out. You could have 200 campaigns, and if no one's on them, it's not going to cost you any marketing credits because they're not going anywhere. Let's see, I'm not understanding how to add the emails for each day under one single campaign title. So what the screen that Greg is on right now is a campaign. All you have to do is write a new message. And then once that new one pops up, you specify what date or what day you want it to send on. There we go. So yeah, if you want that to send the next day, you put a 1 in here. If you want to send it 3 days later, you put a 4 in here because day 0 is immediate, and then it's the number of days after for those. All right, Dee says, if someone has both my phone number, or someone has both mobile phone and email in their contact, is there a way to send via email unless they have a mobile number? Yeah, so that would be the preferred, right? So that would be email preferred. So if for whatever reason, maybe they opted in via text, like they sent a text code and you don't have their contact info, but you want it to go out to everyone, regardless of what kind of information you have on them. You can prefer email, but in the cases where they don't have an email address on their contact file, it'll send via text. That's a really good thing to do, by the way, if you've gotten if you have a fair amount of folks who have texted in and you want to be able to market to them. All right, Allison says, I have a few of your campaigns already going for new members and existing members. One says monthly care call. Is this just connecting with them, building the relationship, seeing if they have any oily questions, etc.? And it seems like this would actually work better as a call rather than text, even in this texting world. So actually, Allison, I think what you are looking at is a follow-up plan. And that is something that is internal. It's an internal, like a reminder, a to-do for you, as opposed to a message that goes out to them. So yes, absolutely, your care calls should be one-on-one. And if anything, you could be shooting them a text. I know Jen Bloomberg of Modern Companion has some really great texts that engage members and kind of get that care call thing happening and building relationships. And those are texts that you can get imported from our content providers. And again, that's GetOiling.com. Scroll down to our partners section to find that. But yeah, you would absolutely, on those care calls, it's just going to show up in your contact manager, and it's going to say, hey, you need to reach out to this person for a care call, which means you're either going to apply that text campaign, like if you get one from Jen, or for you to just shoot them a message or an email asking when they can spend a couple of minutes with you, or however it is that you like to conduct those, asking those oily questions, building the relationship, that kind of thing. Text is a great way to do that, by the way. And there is a really great there's a really great call that we did with Modern Companion on our YouTube channel, and Jen talks about actually why she built those campaigns and how they work for you. Let's see, how do we get our website evaluated on a work session? Allison, just shoot us an email and we can get you on the list. We'll probably, just seeing how long we've gone here, we'll probably do one site a week, unless it's pretty quick. And maybe we'll do, regularly, if a bunch of you guys want it, maybe we'll do like, a website review free for all or something a few times a quarter. But please reach out to us and we can get you on the calendar. All right. Let's see, Elena, on Dee's website, would it flow better to have her why and backstory above the who she is part? Well, what you want to have above the fold, or up there, is really going to be about them. The why, like your why, is kind of what you're communicating when you are communicating to them what you do for them. Right? All we're really doing is just reframing the value that we bring to the table in the context of what they need, and specifically answering the question in their brain, what's in it for me? Right? So your why informs these things. You don't have to necessarily personally get into your big cry and why on your front page. There are instances where it does make sense to do this, maybe in a little about me blurb. But the most important thing that you need to be able to convey on your website is what you can do for them. All right, where do I go to see what link someone clicked in a group email I sent out? I clicked on the unique click and it says who clicked but not what, and then I think she opted out of email and opted out of text. This is a retail member from a referral to a prospect, don't know her personally. So for a contact, you're going to know what they clicked based on their contact file. Is that right, Greg?
It doesn't, so if you send multiple links within an email, it doesn't tell you which link they clicked, but it tells you which email was or had a click in it. So assuming that I can find one here in one of my big contacts, and I'll filter this down by emails, it should show a little icon next to, yeah, like this isn't open. There's like another little icon that shows up if there's been a click. You can see, yeah, here. So here's an open and a click on an email. It shows you when, but it doesn't show you which link they clicked on. Oftentimes, if you're just following if it's a pretty simple email that only has one call to action and one link in there, even if it's like the same link 3 times, then that's less of an issue. But yeah, anyway.
So in that situation as well, where you have someone who is a retail member, you don't have a personal relationship with them, and they've opted out of communication, one last thing you can do is obviously you can call them if you have their phone number and they're in a place where you can, and they're where they are and you're not calling them in the middle of the night. But the other option is you could take their email address or their phone number and head over to Facebook and search that email address or that phone number in the search bar. And quite often you'll actually find the person who's associated with that on social media. So then you can try to get that conversation going there. All right. So I hear that you have a preloaded lead magnet. Where do I find that? That is in the new prospects campaign.
Yeah, it's there, and I found it in the page builder. So under my site settings, custom pages, when you click to create a new page, it is in the personal info template. When you click on that, and then if you click on settings, you'll see that under lead capture settings, it's already in there and includes the link to the guide. So it's sort of a pre-made funnel, and use that template.
Awesome. All right. Rebecca says, so once a member has signed up, I've always scheduled emails in Gmail with Boomerang to send a series of free emails. Is there a way to do this in GetOiling via a tag or another way? Yeah, so you take those emails that you would normally send in Gmail and you put those into a campaign. Message 1, message 2, message 3, how far apart are they? And then when you get someone started, you can either direct them to a landing page where they opt themselves in, or on their contact card, you can look them up like Greg is doing right now and apply that campaign to them.
Yep, just click add, find them in the contact manager, click add, pick the campaign, whatever it might be, and then click add and it'll start sending.
Awesome. And then Allison asks, I have a member who keeps opting out of emails, but when I asked her about it, she said she didn't and wants to get my newsletter.
So that can happen. I mean, so system-wide, we have like a do not mail list. And if somehow, for some reason, they got on this do not mail list, that might be what's going on. So if you want to email us with that, whoever your contact is, we can look into it to make sure that they're not on that list.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you for all of these great questions. Thank you to Lisa and Dee for being willing to come on and share your work with us. And yeah, if you want to be on a future session, you want to have your site reviewed, then come on and send us a message. You may even get to meet my dog. He doesn't want to do this. So no. Say hi, Wally. Here's Wally. All right. So you guys have a great week. Thank you for being here. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.